Global Links Wheelchair Room Facility Layout Project. Global Links, based in Greentree, Pennsylvania, is a nonprofit organization focusing on collaborative medical relief, both locally and abroad, by helping to provide medical equipment, share knowledge, and educate volunteers. Medical equipment arrives as donations to the Global Links facility, where it is then refurbished, packaged, and sent to areas where it is needed. The wheelchair department at Global Links facility refurbishes donated wheelchairs by inspecting, fixing, and cleaning the chairs to a like-new condition. These wheelchairs are then packaged and sent in batches, primarily to Bolivia.
Volunteer wheelchair mechanics often find the current facility layout and associated processes are not conducive to efficiently completing work. Examples of specific problems found by wheelchair volunteers include difficulty in finding wheelchair parts, especially leg rests, armrests, and seat backs, unnecessary inventory being kept, for example keeping pneumatic tires even though they will never be used, smaller assembly items are not properly organized or labeled in an intuitive manner, and the system used to categorize the time necessary to fix wheelchairs is faulty. Additionally, the tasks associated with the wheelchair are highly skilled, since someone without much mechanical experience or wheelchair experience would have difficulty knowing what should be fixed and how to fix it. The objective of the team's facility layout is to reduce the average time needed to fix a wheelchair in the wheelchair room. The strategies that the team implemented were to characterize the right material handling systems, to minimize flow times cost times distance in the layout, and to conduct a labor analysis of the results.
When evaluating the effectiveness of our layout, we wanted to bear in mind that Global Links is a nonprofit organization. Since volunteers are not paid, reducing cost or increasing profit are not appropriate metrics. As a result, we decided to use reducing time as a metric for evaluating the layout, as this would be a stronger indicator of improving our objective of increasing throughput.
The current layout of the wheelchair room has frequently used parts located in multiple areas throughout the room. Work in process and scrap bins are also located in front of shelves, which reduces accessibility. The locations of these frequently used parts leads to more time spent traveling and searching for the correct part. As you can see, the more time that Lego Batman spends searching, the less energy that he can allocate to vigilante justice. With the new layout, the team recommends relocating frequently used parts to the shelf closest to the workbench. An unutilized shelf can be removed to make space for work in process and a scrap bin.
We then compared the new layout to the old layout using flow times cost times distance. Flow is defined as the number of trips to and from stations and was organized using a flow between diagram. Cost was defined as time spent traveling. This time was found by using Standards Pro to create a sub-operation for walking 1 to 2 steps, which was found to be 60 TMUs. This was then scaled appropriately to find the time needed to travel the various distances. The distances were found using either Euclidean or rectilinear distances. This decision was based upon fixed locations that constrained the paths between locations. The original layout was found to have an associated time of 6.2 minutes, and the new layout had a time of 4.5 minutes, resulting in an overall reduction of 27%.
The end goal of the wheelchair room at the Global Links facility is to refurbish donated wheelchairs in order to make them like new. For this reason, the parts used to fix the wheelchair must be the right material and in the right condition. Currently, there are unnecessary and damaged materials taking up space in the wheelchair room, making it more difficult to locate essential parts and tools. Global Links has no use for pneumatic tires or rusty screws. However, these items are taking up space in the workroom. We recommend the removal of items that will never be used to allow more room and easier access to functional materials. The wheelchair room is very disorganized because parts in wheelchairs don't have a designated place or are poorly organized. Parts like screws and bolts are located in one bin without labels, causing volunteers to spend a significant amount of time searching for the correct part and size. Additionally, the current system of organizing new shipments of wheelchairs into how long they will take to fix is inefficient and does not reflect actual processing time. We suggest that bolts, screws, and similar parts are assigned a certain colored bin, and labels are attached on the outside to identify different sizes within their designated color. Labels should also be created for specific wheelchair parts, in addition to a comprehensive map of the entire room located in a central area for volunteers to reference. Lastly, the organization method for wheelchairs should be simplified into the type of wheelchair to reduce unloading and sorting time.
The assessment sheet is a tool that Global Links uses to show the parts of the wheelchair that a volunteer must repair. Currently, the assessment sheet can be confusing, and figuring out what needs to be done can add unnecessary time to both the assessment and repair processes. By rewording and reorganizing the inspection sheet, GlobalLinks can ensure that volunteers can more easily understand what needs to be fixed and how to approach the issue. For example, under the seat section of the assessment sheet, the current sheet has a checkbox that says "Good tears, not large or small." The assessor may not know if this box should be checked if tears are present or if there are small tears present that are okay. In the revised assessment sheet, there is instead a checkbox that says "No tears," which the assessor and fixer can both understand. There's also a note section on the right of the checklist so that the volunteer can quickly see what needs to be fixed for each part of the wheelchair instead of flipping to the front and back side of the paper for each part. Non-uniform orientation of materials also adds unnecessary time to the wheelchair fixing process. Some parts around the room are labeled as right or left. Some assessors may also write notes on the assessment sheet indicating that the left or right brakes, tires, etc. need special attention. However, the right and left side of the wheelchair are not clearly defined. One person may take the point of view of a person sitting in the wheelchair, while another person may take the point of view of someone facing the front of the wheelchair. To address this issue, GlobalLinks can hang a diagram in the room with the front and back view of the wheelchair with the left and right sides of the wheelchair clearly labeled. Another orientation issue is evident in the inventory section, where wheelchairs sit waiting to be fixed. Currently, the wheelchairs face many different directions, so picking a wheelchair out of the inventory section may involve moving the surrounding wheelchairs, which can be a cause of frustration, waste of time, and can even be dangerous. Reorganizing the inventory section and making sure chairs are oriented such that the handles face the aisles will facilitate the material handling process. Here is an example of a visual cue that can be hung in the wheelchair room to differentiate between the right and left sides of the wheelchair.
A labor analysis was conducted for the time needed to fix an average wheelchair. This time was found by interviewing GlobalLinks volunteers to find the expected time to fix various parts of a wheelchair. This time was found by considering that some percentage of the time, the part of the chair may not need to be fixed or may have a minor fix, while the rest of the time it will need a more extensive fix. These probabilities were estimated and used for this analysis. Additionally, the time needed for an extensive fix to the chair was broken down into evaluation and fix time, as well as search time. The search time was a primary area in which time was expected to be reduced, and this was estimated by a GlobalLinks volunteer. Finally, the time reduced from the new assessment sheet was estimated and included in this analysis. The final result of the labor analysis was that the average wheelchair currently takes 3.3 hours to fix, but that this time could be reduced to 2.5 hours through implementing the various changes we recommended throughout the course of this presentation.
In conclusion, we propose several recommendations to the GlobalLinks facility wheelchair room. These include incorporating labeling of bins and parts into their storage system, separating materials that look alike such as left and right side parts, color coding the part bins, following a new proposed layout which includes place for work in progress, remove materials not needed or not in the right condition from the room, and to implement a new, easier to read inspection sheet. With these changes, GlobalLinks should see about a 46-minute reduction in their time it takes a volunteer to complete work on a wheelchair.